We've interviewed over 40 founders and entrepreneurs on this channel. This is by far the biggest guest I've ever interviewed. This is my large friend, Eric. He started the company Beard Brand with just $30, and over the past decade, he's generated over $50 million in revenue. And he built it by doing the exact opposite of what every business guru will tell you.
I was a financial advisor slinging stocks. They didn't want me to grow deep, right? They wanted me to be in a suit and tie and completely shaved face.
So he quit. But here's the best part. Eric's company is entirely bootstrapped, and at one point, 65% of their customers came from the platform you're watching right now, YouTube.
My whole business career has just been making a whole bunch of mistakes and then realizing it after the fact when it's too late to fix them.
In this video, you'll learn how to bootstrap an online business with a small budget, the exact strategy that got him to 2 million YouTube subscribers organically, and how to build a loyal community that drives revenue for years. Let's get into it. Okay, Eric, what is your business and how did you start it?
I'm the founder of Beard Brand. We are a men's grooming company, or more specifically, a beard care company. I launched it as a bootstrap company way back in 2013 as a way to connect with other people like me who didn't fit the traditional stereotype of a bearded guy, and really give them the tools they needed to feel confident about growing their beard out and caring for it.
And when you launched it, how long did it take you to validate the concept?
When I launched, it was almost immediately validated because we actually knew we were being interviewed in the New York Times. So we rushed to get the website created before that article went live. And then within the first day, we saw some orders come in from people that we didn't know.
How did you get that interview feature?
Well, before that, I had a blog, the Beard Brand blog, where we were talking about beard care and content. So that's how they found us.
Okay. And then can you just walk me through what you were doing at that time? Did you have a full-time job? And then how did you come up with the idea, then first get it going?
Yeah, so I started Beard Brand as kind of like a side project to really like a freelance marketing web design agency that I had going on at that time. I had attended a beard competition in Portland, Oregon, and that's where I started meeting other guys like me. And I started meeting other like doctors and ministers and lawyers and kind of professionals. And that's where we coined the term urban beardsmen to describe our niche customer.
And you had a day job in finance, was it?
Well, yeah. So before I started the agency work, I was a financial advisor slinging stocks. That was kind of like the impetus was they didn't want me to grow deep, right? They wanted me to be in a suit and tie and the classic side part hairstyle, completely shaved faced. And like, I just thought not growing a beard was kind of an arbitrary thing that didn't make sense. It's like, if I do nothing, my beard just grows. Like, it is inherent to being a man for a lot of people.
Yeah. And the really cool part about your story and about your business is like, have put a lot of your personality into the business, even when back in the day, that wasn't the popular thing to do. And I think there's a lot of learnings that people can distill from your story to start their own business today, or to like follow their instinct a little bit more. But back into how you launched it. So you had a day job, you quit it, you started this marketing agency, and then what happened?
Before that, I was really a struggling entrepreneur, to be honest. I had this idea and this project and this thing going on, and nothing really, like, I never got that first couple of orders. Like, I never got any kind of momentum. I had great ideas. I wanted to sell vinyl wall graphics online. I wanted to have this agency. I wanted to do this. And I was kind of like that ADD ideas guy. One of the things that I did do during that time period was go to Startup Weekend. And Startup Weekend was basically like what do they call them, hackathons or something, where basically over the course of the weekend, you try to develop a business, see if you can create an MVP over the course of the weekend, get some sales. And in doing so, I started to meet incredible people, most specifically my current business partners, Jeremy and Lindsay. And I convinced them to join me at Beard Brand and start selling products and really building Beard Brand to what it could be.
And can you talk about those early days? I think your wife was also pregnant with your future daughter. What was that like, starting a business while also almost becoming a dad?
You know, we struggled a lot with infertility. So we actually did 4 rounds of IVF. And on the 4th round of IVF, my wife got pregnant. My wife had a good job at that time, so she had enough income kind of to pay the bills. And that allowed me the freedom to try the agency and try Beard Brand. But the reality is, with a little baby on the way, I've got to, really, in my opinion, provide for the family. So I wanted to see Beard Brand be a sustainable business. And in the early days, the first month it was like $900, then $1,000, and then $2,000, and then maybe like $4,000, something like that. And in my mind, I'm like, once it gets to 25K, like we'll have 5K for products, 5K for marketing, and then 5K for myself, and that will be enough to live on. And then of course, when you get to 25K, you're like, nah, this is not enough to really run a business.
How long did it take to get to 25K?
It's a 25K. It's about 6 months or so. And that first year, we really saw rapid growth. We were kind of early to the space with the right message to the right audience, a little bit of that luck. And then by the end of the year, we were on $1 million run rate. So it was just kind of fell into the right thing at the right time, I suppose. And then that next year, we continued to see that growth and eventually led to us being on Shark Tank.
What was the experience with Shark Tank? Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them?
You know, Beard Brand was my first successful business. So this is like the most intense high that you can ever get. Like if you haven't started a business yet, getting those first sales from people who don't know who the heck you are, you know, it's like, I get it when my mom buys the products or my dad buys the products, but when like John Doe comes in, you're like, oh, you trust me. Like I just created this. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm going to send you a product and hopefully you like it. Was absolutely like exhilarating. It was just such a, and then like to each time see like new milestones for what we did on a monthly basis, such an incredible high. So we were riding that high. You know, Shark Tank was a big thing at that time. And so we applied to Shark Tank. We had heard like a lot of different strategies, like do we go to casting calls? But I think at the end of the day, we just kind of agreed that it wasn't like the casting calls are kind of looking for the weird people. And then so we decided just to like submit our information, and a few months later they found us and reached back out to us and went through the whole motions. There's a lot of prep work on that, a lot of like legal work to make sure you're not crazy.
Yeah. And did you, after that episode aired, did you see a bunch of new customers come in?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. I did some screenshots of like the active visitors on our website. I think it hit like 7,000 simultaneous visitors when the show was on live. I was just refreshing on Google Analytics and I'm like,
yeah.
My whole business career has just been making a whole bunch of mistakes and then realizing it after the fact when it's too late to fix them. But yeah, I don't think we did it like an aggressive enough job, like trying to capture customers and get them into the flow and really push like a Shark Tank promotion and stuff.
Yeah. It was relatively newer for you at the time. You had just created this business. One of the interesting things that you've done is you've used a lot of content along the way. Not only you guys have at least 2 YouTube channels, you film content here. Can you talk about the early days of how important that was to have this like content first approach?
Yeah, I mean, like when our mission is to help men, you can't just like give them products and expect for them to do it. I mean, men historically have shunned away from the idea of grooming and investing in themselves. You know, there's a large subset of men who just view it as like sissy or feminine. And the analogy I say to those people is like, if you're building a house, you'll have no problem using a nail gun to achieve the outcome. Well, if you want to look good, there's no problem in using like a styling product or a blow dryer if you need to get the look you're going for. But I think that analogy can kind of help people realize that these are tools to help you achieve a goal. And that's what we're selling. So in the early days, it was just all content. You know, it was actually, we had the blog first, we had a Tumblr page, which kind of helped with like visual stimulation, aspirational kind of photography, like what you could look like with facial hair. And then on our YouTube channel, we would do like tutorials.
How much traction was the blog getting or the YouTube channel getting before you launched any product?
Not a lot. So I think we had, my investors bought in for $8,000 each, $16,000. So that's kind of like, we valued it as basically like our total amount of like blog visitors and followers. So it was like 16,000 total. We assigned a value of like $1 for traffic. And I think at the time, our YouTube channel maybe had like 350 subscribers.
Okay. So you had a little bit of traction between the YouTube channel and the blog. And then
I had one video that was popping, like how to grow a beard. And that was it.
And you think that had you not either had that video or that blog, would you have started the business?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't Beard Brand, maybe we would have started a different business. Jeremy and Lindsay and I were very, eager to start some kind of business. We actually tried a different business that was around like staffing services, like pre-filtered candidates that we had some issues with. We never got off the ground. So, I've had this drive to be an entrepreneur like all my life. So if it wasn't going to be Beard Brand, it was going to be something, but I don't know if it'd be as successful as Beard Brand.
Yeah. And how much capital did you put into the business to start it?
I think it was like $30, which was how much it costs for a Shopify theme back then.
Nice. As you're looking back, is there anything that you've learned now in starting your business that you're like, man, I really wish I would have done this earlier, or like key inflection points for somebody else thinking about doing the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. I think probably our number one mistake was really around hiring. in the first time we started hiring. That's a really hard process, building a team out. Even worse than that, we got really lucky with our first hire. We just put an ad out on Craigslist and they turned out to be amazing. So we just assumed we could do that for a while. So we had some team members that weren't the right fit and we had to deal with that kind of turnover. We implemented top grading into our hiring process and that helped a lot.
Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, so top grading, or the way we implement it, is basically telling candidates at every step of the hiring process that you're going to do reference checks, and then you have them set up reference checks with their previous supervisors. From the get-go, it automatically weeds out kind of like the C players, the people who can't get positive references. Allows you during the interview process, when you say like, hey, when I call John Doe and ask him about you in regards to this, what is he going to say? So during the interview process, most candidates are always trying to spin their negative into a positive, but this is like a true serum because they're like, oh, they're going to call up John Doe and ask him, it better match with what we're saying.
Interesting. Say that I were to call one of your business partners and ask them about you, what do you think they'd say?
He's a pretty good guy. Pretty good guy.
Good guy, great beard.
Yeah, maybe a great beard. I don't think they fawn over my beard that much. They're my business partners, but I think they'd probably say I'm relatively creative, pretty wise with risk valuation, pretty conservative financially, pretty good vision for seeing the future, kind of know what's going to happen, and good taste, good design.
When you were first launching this, I think that you mocked up the logo yourself and
Yep.
you did all the design yourself. Can you talk about those early days of, you don't know if this business is going to work, but you have something in your head that you think is interesting and cool to you and you're just going to try it. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, one of my natural gifts that I feel pretty fortunate for is I'm kind of naturally an extrovert. So if I get excited about something, I just start saying stuff and I just start doing stuff. So I got the idea for Beard Brand, and then of course the first thing I do is I go to Namecheap or Domainer and see if it's available. It's available. I'm like, all right, well, this is an easy name to remember. It's pretty short. I think it was 10 characters. I like to get an illustrator and I just kind of design stuff, and somehow I drew the Beard logo and I think it looks all right. It's looked all right enough to keep it for 13 years.
How many subscribers do you guys have on YouTube, and what has that journey been?
Yeah, so we actually have 2 YouTube channels. We have our large one, which we call kind of our barbershop channel. We film here in the Beard Brand Barbershop. It's called Beard Brand. It's got 2 million subscribers. And then we have a smaller one that's called the Beard Brand Alliance. And that's where we do more of our tutorial style videos, our help videos, and really more of our community building.
I saw on the Beard Brand Alliance YouTube channel, it says, the purpose of this channel is to provide content that inspires men to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool. Can you talk about what is the mission for, people say like mission and vision, but I walk around in here and I listen to you talk and interact with some of the people here, and like, I see it. So
Yeah.
Can you talk about what that is?
To expand upon like that awesomeness that we talked about on the channel is like, really, I believe when a man loves the person looking back at them in the mirror, that they can use that love to become better partners, to become better fathers, to become better leaders of their community, better team members. And through more of a ground up level, an individual level, that's how we're going to improve society. It's not going to be a top down place where we try to force other people to behave different ways. So when we understand that, we recognize that we do have control to make the world a better place, and it starts with us, and it starts with looking at the man in the mirror. And our products are one of those tools. So like if you have a killer looking beard, if your hair is on point, if you got a fresh haircut from an amazing barber, and you look at that guy and you're like, damn, I look good, like you're going to be able to use that confidence to really like level up, and or I believe that you're going to be able to use that confidence to level up. So that's what we're driven to do, is help men recognize that and help bring love to the world, knowing that is what's going to make society better.
At the peak, what is the most traction that YouTube has generated for the business?
Yeah, so when we look at it, bringing awareness, I think it's hard to track, as you probably know, because you see millions of views coming into a video and nobody goes to YouTube, sees it, clicks on the thing, and then you track it. It's more of like that brand building and awareness. We do a post-purchase flow with a software called Grapevine that allows us to just ask one simple question, which is, how did you first hear about us? And now that data is not perfectly accurate because we're relying on humans, but in my mind, if this is how the person perceives remembering us, then that's probably the one that is the most effective. And at the peak, I think we had something like 65% of our customers were saying they first heard about us from YouTube.
Wow. and somebody might be considering this content first approach today for their business, or maybe starting to become a creator first, build traction, and then launch a business pretty similar to how you did it. Do you think this still works in 2025 or looking ahead to 2026?
The beauty of business is you can build a business any way that you want. And now there's even more ways of doing it. So my answer to that is, does it work? It kind of depends on who you are. My recommendation is, if this is something that gets you excited and you feel like you can do for not just like 2 months or 6 months, but like 5 years, then you're probably on the right pathway. But if you find more passion in digging into the numbers and building spreadsheets and like analyzing other listings, then it's probably not going to be the one for you, because you're going to burn out, you're going to hate it, you're going to be stressed out. So finding the right growth channel really comes down to your personality.
And can you talk about early on how you felt in terms of excitement, overwhelm? What was that like that you would pass on to other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, it's in the early days, because Beard Brand was growing so rapidly based on anything I've ever done before, it was an incredible high. So it was like, if I was awake, I was thinking about Beard Brand. And that probably went on for the first 3 to 4 years of Beard Brand's existence. So
wow.
Yeah. It was just like, you could have a conversation with me and it's like, what is the next product? What is the fragrance? How are people like, what are the, customer service things that I need to reply to? How should I do packaging? Like all the things. It was just nonstop. But for me, it wasn't burnout, because I was just so eager to want to do it. And then of course, as you get more established, you find like, oh, maybe I don't like doing customer service so much, so I'm going to bring somebody on. And oh, I don't really like video editing so much, and I'm going to bring somebody on. And so eventually you kind of like end up handing over the things that you don't find as enjoyable.
And what would your message be to somebody who's figuring this out for themselves? Earlier, you told me something I really liked. It's like, it should, despite it being hard, it should feel easy.
Oh yeah.
Can you explain what that means?
We've done a lot of things with Beard Brand over the years, and some of them we launched with great success, and some of them is just like hitting your head against the wall. So when I originally had the idea for Beard Brand, it was actually a lifestyle company. So it was like bags and wallets and, suspenders and accessories and clothes. And we actually tried to produce some of that. So we had a shirt that we produced, we had suspenders that we sold, and we had wallets that we sold. And those products just did not move relative to our grooming products. And, that was the reminder to me that, Beard Brand is a grooming product brand, because like these are the products that we're offering that are easier to sell. When you develop a new company, it's always going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but the hard things aren't necessarily going to be getting traction in the marketplace. So I would strongly recommend either you kind of tweak your value proposition, what you're offering it, who you're offering it to, until you really find that thing where it's just like, oh man, now the problem is like, how do I keep up? How do I bring on the right people? How do I, make that work? And all those are very hard things as well. But the people being like, oh, that's a good idea, I'm going to buy that, should be the easiest of all the things.
Would you recommend for other companies, whether e-commerce or otherwise, to have some sort of post-checkout survey similar to you guys to see the data?
I think it kind of depends. If you're just, let's say you're only using Meta and you're not doing any other channels, then it's probably, it's just going to muddy things up.
Yeah.
So, if you have multiple channels and you don't want to pay $1,000 for, an attribution software, it's going to get you directionally correct. And, I think Grapevine right now is like $25 a month. I don't know if there's anything on AppSumo that's similar that I'm sure you have some great deals that could really help people out.
As we were talking back there about other tools that you use, what other like software tools do you use to run the business?
Yeah, of course, in e-commerce, I think the majority of people are in Shopify. We're a Shopify store as well. We've been a long-time customer of Klaviyo. We use them. We just moved over for SMS to Klaviyo, so we'll be interesting to see how that works for us. And then we have review widgets with Judge Me, which is another great brand that I highly encourage. They're another like $15 a month brand that gives you 95% of what you get from other competitors. And then of course, with AppSumo, TidyCal has been instrumental to my life and being able to manage my calendar. I'm very bad at that. So it's just like, here's the link. If it's on the calendar, I'll be there. But otherwise, I have a really hard time making times work.
What are the breakdown for the different channels today on social or YouTube or paid ads or that find Beard Brand?
When we have customers who come in, right now it's about a 30-30 between our paid Meta and then about YouTube. But YouTube also includes other partnerships that we've developed with other content creators. So we've established some great relationships. You'll see these black bottles right here. That's with Jeremy Sires. He's a content creator has a large following on YouTube. And
cool. What's been like ballpark revenue over the years? What'd you say, like over a lifetime, over like sold over 50 million or something?
Yeah, I mean, so we've been in business for quite a long time. We've moved a lot of units, totaling over $50 million in revenue.
Wow. And then did you take outside money, or is this bootstrapped?
Yeah, so Beard Brand's entirely bootstrapped. Whenever we have an extra dollar, we try to put it back in the business in the early days. My business partners actually put a couple of dollars in there, but is more of taking less out is how we did it. So very little money came into this, and then we operate the business. I don't even have a line of credit. We don't do any cash advance. We haven't had to do any like additional cash into the business over the years. So it's been really important for us to stay debt free, to run a conservative financial books, and allow me to sleep well at night is at the end of the day what I like in a business.
I heard you mention in particular doing men's groups or traveling around the world. What have you learned from some of these different groups?
Relationships, I think, is something that Beard Brand does well, whether it be fostering them with people like Jeremy Sires, other content creators, people like Noah. I've done retreats with Noah as well over the years. And also we've worked hard to create a community with Beard Brand. So we've created the Alliance's YouTube channel, but it's also a private community. So using discourse forum software. So it's not even on Facebook. We own the channel. We allow customers who have purchased from us 3 times or spent over $150 to be able to get access to it. And the thing about Beard Brand is our core values are freedom, hunger, and trust. And those core values align with a lot of our audience's core values. So they're able to join the community and connect with other like-minded people who tend to be going through similar things. And it's been a great community. Some people have been very vulnerable to share, like their child drug overdosing and, divorces that they're going through, and to be able to do that in a safe space that's private, where it's not, completely out to the public. And then we tie that together with in-person events that we put on over the years, and they're able to bring that online relationship to in-person. And that's just been, in my opinion, something very valuable to the people we serve.
What does your X bio say?
Unabashed capitalist.
One of the things I like about your profile and kind of your persona of like, it's almost like maybe a first time early on founders can be like founder of this, talking about all their numbers, at least have it in their bio. You don't have anything about it in your bio. Can you talk to me about that?
One of my core values is freedom. So freedom, hunger, and trust. But, I do believe that business to a certain degree is an extension of your own philosophies. And my partners are aligned, and, Jeremy and Lindsay, we all share those same values. So freedom, for me, X is a platform where you want to say things. Unfortunately, we live in an environment that people will leverage your connections to try to take it down. So if you say the wrong thing, I got a post go viral where I talked about how when you come into my house, you can wear shoes. I'll clean up after you. It's kind of rude to ask people to take shoes off. And then like, oh my God, I was a racist, I was a colonizer, I was all these things. And it's like, well, are they going to tie that to Beard Brand and start a Beard Brand boycott all because I told people to leave your shoes on in my house? So the world's kind of weird like that. And I feel like the more I can strip from how I describe myself, it allows me the freedom to speak on my behalf. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of building a company for freedom, like financial freedom, if we don't have communication freedom? I have a lot of things in my head. I don't care if you like them or you don't like them, but I just want to be able to say them.
I think that's a perfect example of freedom. And another example I'm thinking of for taste is, I think I've heard you say you guys added like clay or something to one of the Beard Brand for no other reason, just to make it feel like sand, kind of, because you thought that'd be cool.
Well, no. So our sea salt spray, like another thing going back to our products, like I don't want to develop products that already exist on the marketplace. Like I love novelty, and I love this idea of bringing something into the world that doesn't exist. So when we developed our sea salt spray, like I grew up in South Carolina, I went to the beach all the time. I know what it's like to go swimming in the ocean and coming out what the hair is like. And one of the things, whether you like it or not, is the sand that gets in your hair. And it's also that sand that creates that texture in your hair. So how can you have a sea salt spray that's just bottling the liquid of the ocean, but completely leaving out the sediment? So we were the first brand to put kaolinite clay in our product. And you'll actually see it settle at the bottom of it. You'll have to shake it to use it. And then you're getting the most authentic sea salt spray experience. And nobody did that before. So that's one of our few innovations.
Eric, this has been amazing. Where can people find you online?
find me online over on X. My last name is Bandholz, B as in boy, Andholz. Beard Brand, I would recommend that you just go buy some products. Our products don't know what your gender is, or they really don't know what your beard length is. And I've got products from like deodorant to cologne to shampoos, conditioners, oils. So there's a product on there that you can find, and then you can see what an amazing experience that we deliver, from our email marketing to our packaging and of course to our products.